Good morning students. I hope you all are doing good. Today we are going to do chapter number 9 of Civics NCERT class 6, which is titled as Traders, Kings and Pilgrims. Now in this chapter we are going to do how trade was important, how trade was linked with different kings and kingdoms and pilgrims and the religion. Now for easy understanding of this chapter, this has been divided into 4 main topics, the chapter, which is traders and the ancient trade, kings and the ancient trade, changes in religion and pilgrims. Now for each and every topic of it, you are going to see and understand how trade was linked with every aspect that has been mentioned here. So this chapter is actually about trade. Now to start with, who are traders? Who are the people who are traders? So traders are the people who will collect material which from where it is grown, and they will sell it to different places. Now in your house, in your cities, you will find things which are actually belonging to not your city. Suppose you are staying in Delhi, you will find in fact different things which are coming from different parts of India, and not just India, different parts of the world. Now who is making it possible to reach at your place? So these things reach at your place for your convenience by the traders. So traders are the people who are picking up things from where they are grown or produced and sell it at different places around the world in different regions. Now how do we know that trade existed in the past? So for everything which is happening in the past, we need to have facts, because on those facts only we decide and derive on conclusions. Now this is, you have done in the last chapter also, this is your northern black polish ware, NBPW. Now this we have seen that we have got archaeological evidences also that this has been found throughout the subcontinent. When I say subcontinent, I don't just mean India, I mean different countries like Nepal, Pakistan, Afghanistan and many others. So this pottery was found in all the different countries across the subcontinent. Now these potteries were carried by traders from our countries where it was made, and they were sold at different places across the subcontinent. Now this leads to understand, because it was produced at one place but we have found it at different locations, that makes us to understand that trade existed in the past. Now next we say, so is this only the one thing? No, there are many evidences to learn and understand which infer that trade existed in the past. Now south of India is famous for its spices plus the precious stones. Now when it comes to spices, it is famous for black pepper, and in Roman Empire, pepper was your black pepper which you find commonly in the kitchen, the spice. It was so much valued that it was known as black gold. Now if you will dig more into the history, you will find that there were actually wars which took place because of the black pepper. So south of India was very famous for this. Now traders carried these goods, all these goods from south of India to Rome in ship, and there were two ways of going, one across the sea and the second was through land, by land in the caravans. Now how do we know that the trade existed between our country and Rome in the past? Because a number of Roman coins have been found in South India, and they belong to the period, because the kings will issue them, so these coins belong to the period of King August and Tiberius. Now one more evidence that we find of trade in the past is of the Sangam literature. We have found different Sangam poems about which we have learned in past also. Sangam poems are actually the work of Tamil language. So we have found different poems which talk about the trade in the past. Okay, so this talks about the black pepper, the gems and the jewelry, sandalwood and the pearls, the corals, and very many things. So this poem actually talks about it. So Sangam literature is also one of the most evident and important evidence that leads us to understand that trade existed in the past, in ancient time. Now if the trade existed, so that means there were different channels, there were different routes that people were taking. Now because the trade was very important, so different routes were explored by the traders, and some sea routes were explored by the traders, and because it's a sea route, so obviously they were followed by the coast. Now in your coast, what is the coast? Like the coast is where the land is meeting the ocean. So where land is meeting the ocean, that is called coast. Now different routes were explored by the explorer, by the traders, to let their goods go easily across the sea. Now they took advantage of monsoon winds. You must have heard of this monsoon winds. So they took advantage of this monsoon winds to go across the ship to the Rome. Now this is very simple for us to understand, that if you are flying kites, I will give you example of flying kites. If you are flying kites in the direction of the wind, you will find it easier to fly the kite. But if you are flying the kite in the direction opposite to the direction in which the wind is flowing, then it is very difficult. So is the case. So you will find it easier to travel when you are traveling in the direction with the wind, rather than to travel against the wind. So this was the advantage of monsoon winds. So they used to travel in the direction of monsoon winds. Now see, this is the coastline, the long coastline of our country. Now southern half of our subcontinent is marked by a long coastline across the sea, and it is easier for the trade because this area is connected to the port. Okay, so this channel was easy. The water bodies are there, such huge water bodies which are connecting different parts of the world. Now over here, Kaveri Delta was very fertile and was very important. Okay, so why the kings wanted to control it? Because controlling these natural resources, your hills, plateaus and river valleys, was making kings powerful. Okay, so that is why the kings were controlling these river valleys and the coast. Now in Sangam literature, we have found the use of the word Movendar. Now who is a Movendar? Movendar is a Tamil word and it means chief. Okay, so Movendar is a Tamil word meaning chief. So now there were three important ruling families in that time: Chola, Chera and Pandyas. Now each of these they were very powerful in south of India around 2300 years ago, and each of them had two important center of powers. Like Chola had two, Pandya had two, and Chera had two. Now each of them had one inland, one coastal. One inland, one coastal. One inland, one coastal. That means inland means which is landlocked. Okay, so they had like each of them had two, so that makes it to 6. Okay, one inland which is surrounded by land, which is landlocked, and one on the coast, because you can see they have the presence of coastal line across their kingdom. Now among the 6 cities that we have just discussed, that each of the 3 ruling kingdoms had 2 cities in for each one of them, making it 6 in number in total. So 2 were very important. One is Puhar or Kaveri Patnam. So this area belonged to this region, complete region belonged to Cholas. So for Puhar was, or Kaveri Patnam was the very important port for Cholas, and Madurai was the capital of Pandyas. Okay, so they were very, out of all 6, these 2 were very, very important. Now see, because this was a trading channel, trade route, so kings were controlling it because they used to get regular taxes. Okay, sorry, not regular taxes, they used to get regular tribute from the people. Now we have done already, there's a difference between tax and tribute. See, tax is always imposed, but tribute is given willingly by the people. So the tribute that they used to get from the traders was very high and huge in number. So and in return the kings also protected them. So this was controlling the sea route or the trading routes across this coastline was very, very important for the kings, and this made them rich and powerful. Now, because what would the kings do with the huge amount of wealth that they were collecting because of the trade? Because this chapter is all about trade. So they used to keep the wealth either for themselves or they would distribute among their supporters. Now the supporters would mean the member of their families, the soldiers and the poets. Now poets, what the poet used to do, because now through poetry also, through the different compositions that these poets made, we found that we find in Sangam collection, we get to know about the period of that king. Now poets used to compose different poems in praise of kings, and kings in return would award the poets with precious stones, gold, horses, elephants, chariots and fine clothes. Now there was one more important dynasty, Satvahana Empire, which became very powerful in Western India other than Chola, Cheras and Pandyas. And the most important ruler of this Satvahana Empire was Gautamiputra Sri Satkarni. So Gautamiputra means son of Gautami. That was his mother name and this was the ruler name. Now how do we know about him? This we get to know about Sri Satkarni through the inscription that were made or written by by his mother Gautami. Okay, and like Satvahana was so important that they were actually called Lord of Dakshinapat, and they ruled from 1st century BCE to 3rd century CE. This was their tenure, which is very long. Now Dakshinpat literally means the root. Path means route, Dakshin means south. So the route that is leading to the south. So which was also used as a name for the entire kingdom. Okay, but when it comes to Dakshinpat, but we actually say who was the Lord of Dakshinpat? The Satvahanas. Do like and share it if you liked it, and thanks for watching. Please subscribe to my channel and do watch it again for better understanding. Thank you.